Hello, welcome back to another episode of Initial Impressions. My name is Kayli Pommering and I'll be your host today. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you feel more at peace, to combating your childhood traumas, any emotional blockages that are getting in your way. I offer the latest tools and tricks and tips that I have been learning in the mindfulness world to help you combat all of these things and feel like you have more emotional control. That's something that I definitely felt like I was lacking for a really, really long time. And because I've been able to find that and find so many amazing people that have been able to help me and books that have taught me the things that I can actually control to ground myself. And so that is what I come here to share every other week. So in today's episode, I really got inspired by a book that I've been reading called Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima. She is the founder of It Cosmetics, and its target was towards real women who didn't look like the picture perfect model that everybody was marketing to at that time period. She wanted women of all different races, all different weights, all different skin conditions to be represented in her advertising. And that was something she refused to budge on. So while a lot of companies liked her products, because of the way that she wanted to advertise them, they refused to work with her. They denied her over and over and over again. And finally, she got an opportunity on live TV to sell beauty products. And they told her, we really don't advise that you do this. We really don't advise that you use these models who look like regular women. Nobody's ever going to buy from them. Even in the past, people told her, nobody's ever going to buy from a woman who looks like you, who weighs what you weigh, which is just baffling. But that's the kind of things, those are the kind of rejection she was getting. And so she, was like, I don't care, on live TV, I'm going to have these models that look like real women so that all the women in America, across the world, feel seen and beautiful, and they know that these products are for them too. They're not just for this picture perfect society standard woman. And she broke national records and became one of the biggest makeup companies in the world. And she did that all by staying authentic to her vision, authentic to what she felt her purpose was. And so she writes this book about worthiness. And as I've been reading, literally every page I'm just crying. And I've talked about Jamie Kern Lima on the podcast before, and I've talked about today's topic a few times before, but I've learned some things from her that I really just had to give you guys because, it's really been making an impact for me. So today's podcast episode is going to be about the differences between self-worth and self-confidence and why you need a balance of both and how to know which one that you are missing on or maybe relying too heavily on. She made a clear distinction between self-worth and self-confidence, one that I hadn't really heard before. I think in my mind, I kind of put them in the same category a little bit, but she made it pretty clear cut, and that was that self-worth is internal and self-confidence is external. Self-worth is based on beliefs. Self-confidence is based off of actions and feedback and your goals. So with self-confidence, it might look like, I know I can do this. I've done it before. I'm not afraid to talk to people, or I'm not afraid to try new things. I believe in my abilities. I know what I'm capable of. I have these goals. I'm determined to meet them. I will work as hard as it takes. Those are all self-confidence, which is a really important thing to have. But this was the catch-22. Self-worth is about what you believe that you're worthy of, how worthy you believe you are, how valuable you believe you are. If you believe that worth and value and worthiness of being loved and enoughness, if you believe that's inherent, that is what's going to determine where your self-confidence will take you. Because your self-confidence will take you into rooms that your self-worth won't let you stay in if it's not at the same level of your confidence. For example, let's say I am very confident in my ability to reach a certain goal within my business. So I work, connect with all these people, and I get my business to this certain level. My ability to sustain that new standard is going to depend on how worthy of that place in my business I believe that I am. Because if I really on the inside don't believe that I'm worthy of a big company, if I don't believe that I'm worthy of a lot of customers, or I don't believe that I'm worthy of a lot of money, then once I reach that goal, I will self-sabotage to bring myself back into the realm that I believe that I am deserving of. Now, that's a really important thing to know, because you could spend your whole life working towards something and then lose it all because you don't believe you deserve it. So here's an indicator to help you recognize if maybe your self-worth is a little low. If you have a lot of self-confidence and you're going after your goals and you're trying new things and you're doing what it takes, and then you hit a setback, you hit a failure, you make a mistake, if that completely rocks your world, if when that happens, you don't feel worthy, you don't feel good enough, you feel lost, you don't feel seen, you don't feel valuable anymore, then that means that your self-worth was actually really low. It was just your self-confidence that was high. But self-confidence can sway like the wind as soon as something changes or you get nasty criticism. If you have a lot of self-worth and you know that you are deserving of good things, you know that you're deserving of love, you know that you have high value, you know that no matter how productive you are or aren't, or how well you stick to your diet or don't, you deserve to be loved and you are enough and you are worthy. Okay? It's a lot of the same words, but bear with me. If you really feel that way, then when you make a mistake, you say, okay, I'll do it again next time, you know? When you make a mistake, you don't believe now that you don't deserve everything that you've built. You just, and not to say that the failures don't still suck, of course they do, but the way that it feels internally, the way that you feel about yourself internally can be a reflection of whether or not your whole foundation was built solely on self-confidence, on external things, on other people's validation, on your own performance. Now, on the other hand, you want to be careful too, because let's say you have very high self-worth, but you have super low self-confidence, then it's going to keep you from ever getting in the rooms that you deserve to be in, ever getting into the conversations that you need to be a part of. You might hold yourself back. You might say, I know I'm deserving of good things. I know I deserve love, but I'm scared to put myself out there. I'm scared to try this new thing, or I'm scared to go for this new job because I've never done anything like this before. And you might hold yourself back from these opportunities where you could really shine. And so it's important to work on building both of these things. And you can build self-confidence through practice, through discipline, through affirmations, but you build self-worth through changing your belief systems. Changing your belief systems can be a hard thing to do because a lot of the beliefs that we have are subconscious. They were developed by the time we were 4 years old, and we're not aware of a lot of these things. It's a lot of beliefs that are just like integrated into our way of thinking. So it's not necessarily something that we actively decide every day. Like when we decide what we're going to put on to wear that day, when we pick our outfit out, it's on the forefront of our mind. When we decide whether or not we're deserving of money, that's more of a background thought that's been happening since childhood. And it's likely because of repeated thoughts that we've heard from our parents or whoever our guardians were, or whatever our circumstances told us to be true about money. And so there's a lot of things that are kind of running in the background that you've been believing for a long time, even if you haven't been actively choosing them. Now, this is a topic that I could go on and on and on about. I could give you a million different examples of where you need to watch out for a lack of self-worth so you don't self-sabotage, or you don't, keep yourself in your emotional comfort zone, because we all have those. And I've talked about that before. We usually have about 4 emotions that we feel on a regular basis, and those are our emotional homes, and those are habitual thoughts that produce feelings that we've kept around for a really, really long time that we're likely not aware of. And so those emotional homes, no matter what goals we achieve, we might find ourselves feeling uncomfortable because we're not in the same emotional state that we're used to being in, and we'll find ourselves sabotaging that goal to bring us back to the emotional state that we're familiar with. And so what do we do about all this? Well, you have to figure out what belief systems aren't serving you. And in order to do that, you have to get really specific with yourself. And so today's little challenge is going to be, I want you to sit down and I want you to write what you believe that you're worthy of in these 3 areas: your career, your relationship with love, and your relationship with yourself, as in, what do you believe that you deserve to feel on a regular basis? Write down all the beliefs that you have. Be honest. Not what you want to believe, what you believe on the default. And if you're actively working to combat these thoughts, I love that for you. But if these negatives are still popping up, I want you to write them down anyways, because it's going to be helpful to do it for this practice. I want you to write down the beliefs that you actively have. And they're probably mostly lies, but I want you to write them down, that you have over your career/money, over your relationship with love, and then over your relationship with yourself and your emotional state. Now, when you write a couple of beliefs for each of these, you can exhaust this list as much as you want to, but I don't want you to super exhaust yourself. It's going to be hard because it's 3 different topics. So however much time that you have to devote, to this practice, pick the core ones that stick out to you. Then underneath that, I want you to write all the beliefs that you want to have, the things that you want to believe about money in your career, the things that you want to believe about your relationships and your love life, the things that you want to believe about how you could feel every single day. So that might look like, in the first section, the lies might be, I am not worthy of money unless I work super, super hard to get it. The new belief that you might want to have is, money comes easily to me when I'm living in alignment. When I'm living in my purpose, money is always flowing to me. That's something that you want to believe, and also it is true. It's true. That's why you can make money easily if you do something that you love. Now, a belief for relationship or love that could be a lie is, I don't deserve a partner who loves me unconditionally. And then in the truth, you're going to write, I believe I deserve a partner that loves me unconditionally because I love unconditionally. And that's true, you do deserve a partner that loves you unconditionally, especially if that's what you give back out into the world. And then you can kind of go through those things. And I want you to look at the lies, and I want you to ask yourself, who did I know growing up who used to feel this way or display their life in this way? Who used to say these words? Where did I get this belief system from? Maybe it was a grandparent. Maybe it was a friend's parent. Maybe it was your guardian. Maybe it was a friend. Who knows? It could be so many different things. It could be an aunt and uncle that just tended to regurgitate the same thoughts around you when you were a kid. Go through and think about those things, and I want you to figure out whose beliefs those actually are. Who gave them to you? And this will really help you to separate the truths from the lies, to realize, okay, this was an insecurity that was passed on to me, but it's not mine. I hope that these tools help you. I hope seeing the differences between self-worth and self-love can help you get a better idea of which one you need to work on growing the most, and maybe what could be getting in your way or keeping you from reaching for your goals or keeping you self-sabotaging them when you finally get them. It's hard to really know what the issue is when you don't have a lot of clarity surrounding the problem. So I'm hoping this brings you just that, and I hope this exercise clears some things up for you, and you can start really reprogramming those thoughts. And just remember, those truths are true. You want to believe them because they are true for you. And you do deserve love. You are enough just the way you are. Your productivity does not determine how lovable you are. You are worthy. You are enough. You deserve to be confident, and you deserve to reach your goals and be able to sustain them. So I hope that you get some clarity from this episode. If this episode helped you, or if there's someone else that you think it could really benefit, please share it with them. Please like, subscribe, and thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I hope you're leaving more at peace than you came.